Welcome back for another episode of From Framerails to Finish. Here today, Morristown, New Jersey, the Morristown Fire Department Ladder Company 1. It's a 2024 Pierce Enforcer Ascendant product with a 107-foot aerial. It's a beautiful build and we have a lot to share, so join us as we check out Ladder Company 1. Welcome to Morristown, New Jersey. Today I'm here with Captain DeGroot. Cap, thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
So this is fun. We're here looking at the new TDA that's backed in behind us in the bay, and it's a beautiful build by Pierce. I want to ask you this though. Part of the story is getting together with the guys that have been here for more than a couple of years. And you're going on 25 years this year with the Morristown Fire Department. Give me a little background about your beginnings here. We were talking about the senior man and the important role they played in your upbringing.
Right.
Just being here for 25 years, Morristown is a small community, but it's bustling and it's constantly growing and evolving. So I'm sure you've seen a lot over the years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first joined in 2000 or got hired in 2000, I was a volunteer before that for a few years. We were starting to get into running medical calls as well.
Right.
And at the time, we were running roughly 1,200 fire calls and then about 500 med calls, and then that number within the years just jumped up to almost 1,000 med calls. And now we don't do EMS anymore, and we're up to 1,900 fire calls a year.
Right.
Town's booming. High rises are coming into town.
That's what really captured my attention. And not only that, but it's an old town.
It's an old town.
So the infrastructure is old. So the streets are tight.
Streets are very tight.
And the development is booming.
Development is going crazy. Yeah, and traffic and in the morning and at night, you just can't get through town. There's nowhere for the cars to move to the side of the road.
I have seen it firsthand, so I absolutely understand. So I can only imagine what it's like to get through town. And I guess that's what brings us to the TDA and the tractor drawn aerial that you guys built. You guys have had one prior to this, so it's absolutely crucial to have a maneuverable apparatus.
You'd certainly need it. I mean, when I came on, we had 2 tillers here, one as a backup and all that. And I'm fortunate enough and proud that I was able to operate 4 tillers in this town.
Is that right? 4?
Yeah, I was the first one to tiller this one because when we went out to Appleton,
right?
My partner and I, another Captain McDonough, him and I were able to test drive it. So I was the first one out of the department to tiller this one. And the one that this replaced, I was able to do the same thing with my captain at that time. So
yeah.
But we have some streets that without this, we wouldn't be able to get down.
Yeah.
It's that tight. So.
Well, it's important, right? And I think that's what's really what the message is, that when you build custom fire apparatus, you have to build it for your first due.
Correct.
And I know you guys run with minimum staffing quite often, and so you guys are stretched thin on arrival, and fire typically has a head start on you guys here. Yeah. And so you're always playing catch up, especially with the staffing you have, and I understand that completely. I think that the foundation of our fire companies matter, and it's not even so much the foundation of each guy being a part of the process, but it's also the ground we build upon. Like, you have to understand and appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that came before you even got here.
Oh yeah.
Because if you don't, and we don't keep track of that, we're gonna lose our focus of where we're going.
Right. And fire service has changed too. Since when I got here, and being a young EMT, HIV was a big
thing. Absolutely.
HIV,
For sure.
when you went on med calls, it was HIV.
Right.
Now that's turned into anthrax. I remember getting pills, and in case there was a scare, the county would dispatch you this, and
right.
Then it was COVID. And that was just like, oh my goodness gracious, nobody knew what was going on. Everybody thought the world was ending, and we're coming to work. The streets are, quiet, and that was scary. And now, you have the terrorist. So now you're worried about, buildings collapsing or bombs going set off or school shootings or
absolutely
any of that stuff. So now in the fire service, now we have to step back and say, okay, how are we going to handle this? And join forces. When we have joined forces with the Morris County Sheriff's Officer, become a rescue task force.
Right, for an
to
active
go
shooter
for
or
an
something.
active shooter and stuff like that. And we train with the town cops and the Sheriff's Department and the bomb squads and all that stuff to all work together. But 25 years ago, we fought fires. We got people out of cars.
It was the fire department. We went to fires. We did rescue work.
That's it.
That was it.
It
was a little bit simpler.
It was a lot simpler.
I agree with you. I mean, I had that upbringing too, and I talk about that a lot. I look at my kids, my two youngest that are home still, are 17 and 18, and what they have to deal with in school today, and active shooter drills and all those things. It was never even a thought for you and I.
No.
And
except we did have to climb underneath our desk for the Cold War stuff.
all right, well, you're a little bit older than me, Cal. Just saying, I didn't have any Cold War in my world, but that's a really good point, because every generation it changes, it's something else. But you bring up a really good point. The fire service was pretty simple years ago, where we went to fires and we took care of rescue situations, right? Yeah. Then the inclusion of EMS, and then all these other things that get piled on. In any agency, in any municipality, who's the catch-all for everything? It's the fire department.
Right.
And so we have to innovate. And there's a lot of deep historical roots in this firehouse, right? And in this city for the fire service. And you guys constantly have to evolve. You have a UWASI rescue truck that's here.
Yes.
So you guys are trained in all the heavy rescue and tech rescue disciplines, right?
Yes. Yeah. We do trench with the county. We do a trench team. We do high angle, low angle rescue as well. We do structural collapse. We have cameras. We have struts. We also have a trailer that goes along with our USAR rig. We do just about anything they ask us to do.
And I was just hearing
toolbox, right?
Oh, yeah, that's it, right? But you gotta have the buy-in from your people to give the expertise to the tools and equipment.
Oh yeah.
And that's the you can have all the apparatus, you can have all the equipment, but if you don't have the training and the people and the dedication behind it, it doesn't mean anything.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No sense of bringing a hammer if you don't know how to swing it.
And with that, my friends, that is exactly it. That is a great saying. I love that. Final thoughts here in Morristown, having us here today. Anything that I missed, anything that's important to you, I would appreciate,
No, we take a lot of pride in what we do. We have fun at what we're doing, but it's still serious. At the end of the day, it's still a serious job.
We gotta enjoy this.
Got to enjoy it,
The job is good.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes with all of the stuff that gets piled on us, we sometimes forget how good this job can be or is.
Yeah.
And so today, we come into firehouses, we film, and we do this project. And I always feel like, in the beginning, you're walking on eggs. You're trying to feel out the place, trying to figure out the dynamics, who's who, what's what, right? But ultimately, by the end of the day, there's a lot of laughs and smiles being shared, because it's the commonality of the love for the fire service. Sure. And thank you, Tex.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, brother. It was a great conversation. Good. Thank you for opening your doors to us today.
No, you're welcome.
We're going to take a poke around. We're going to look at the TDA. We'll get it out on the road in a little while and have some fun with it. But thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thanks for being on camera with me.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So I'm here with firefighter Joey Sanfelice. Joey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. We get to do this project. We travel all over the country. Today we're in Morristown, New Jersey with you guys. And a lot of times we come in, we kind of disrupt the day, and you guys do your thing, and we come in with a film crew and start poking around and looking around. But you and I, through that, struck up a great conversation.
Yes.
We're here looking at Ladder Company 1, which is this beautiful TDA. But the other side of the conversation, too, are the people that are actually operating this truck. And I know that you're chauffeuring today. 20 years here in Morristown. You got some volunteer time before that. A lot of our conversation had to talk about the Morristown Fire Department and a lot of the history of it. Give me a little background, man. What's your background with Morristown? Because you seem to be pretty dialed in on the history and the traditions here.
Well, my father was on the job here. He did about 43 years here and even more as a volunteer. So he started off as a fireman, went up to captain, retired as a fireman.
43 years.
43 years. 43 years. So I don't know if I'll make that number. I'll stay for 30, but not for 43.
Did he love this place?
He loved it very much.
Yeah.
He had a lot of love for this place. He helped build the engines here. He was part of the union and everything else. He did the shirts, which I'm in charge of now.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of love for this place, and it showed it. So, and a lot of guys respected him. So
You're a legacy fireman. So, I mean, you kind of grew up, I think, in his shadow, which I know can be difficult at times,
yes, it can be.
right? But that's probably where you truly found your passion, though, too, is that, like, he exuded such passion about this place, and he was protective of the culture and the traditions, I'm sure. And I feel that through our conversation today, you're very much the same way.
Yes, I am. I like the old school stuff because I feel like the old school is the better way, even though we still have to go with the newer stuff. Of course. Because obviously the future's coming. You can't keep going to the past. You got to go with the future. But to me, when the things fail in the future, the old school stuff still works.
I love that. You guys here in Morristown, staffing, you guys are always at a minimum for the most part. I mean, you guys are doing a lot with a little, from what I come to find out. So I'm sure over the years, you guys have had to get very resourceful in your 20 years on a lot of these runs you're going on.
Oh yes, like my father, when he started, there was only 5 guys working here, and the lowest they went down was 4. And now when I started, we used to have 8-man shifts. Luckily now we have some that have 8. My shift is only at a 7-man shift. We have one guy out on an injury, and sometimes we go down to 5. And the thing is that you just got to go right to work, you get there fast, and put the fire out fast, the problems go away.
Yeah. So I like that. And some people would think, right, we're here looking at a TDA in a department that with 7 guys on a shift requires 2 guys to operate this truck every single day, right? And people would think like, well, how does that work with a minimum staff department? But the town truly dictates the apparatus that you need.
Yes.
So the downtown, I mean, talk to me a little bit about why this TDA or having TDAs. You guys have a long history and lineage of TDAs in this department.
So the actual first ladder truck, motorized ladder truck, I should say, was a Mack.
Okay.
We had the first Mack motorized fire truck in Morristown. And I guess over time, they noticed streets were small, tight. They had to go with a tractor drawn. And over time, they kept with the tractor drawn. We do have a tower ladder, 95-foot tower ladder. And that thing is hard to get around the tight streets.
Sure.
If you don't drive it enough, or you get to a tight street, you might have to do a bunch of K-turns. This truck here gets down these tight streets very well. Even when sometimes you have cars that are parked in a no parking spot, you got 2 good guys on this, you're gonna get by it no problem. So, and I know when we had a fire down Catherine Lane, it was a very heavy rainy day, and I made that turn like I was going straight down the street.
Yeah.
And this thing made the turn, no problem.
Yeah. And I think that's what's really interesting. As we drive around Morristown and really get a sense of the community. It's a city. It's a bustling city, and it's, 2.7 square miles, I think somebody said?
Yeah, it's basically the new Hoboken, they call it. It's going up, and it's becoming more dense. Population's probably close to almost 30,000 people.
Yeah.
And it's more during the morning with everybody coming to work and driving through Morristown.
Driving through Morristown I don't even think that's possible.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. There's times when we open up the bay doors and we're trying to go to a call, it's nothing but a line of cars.
Right.
So,
right. And I think that's the one thing that really stands out to me, right? Is like when you look at your first due and understand the tools that you need to operate, right? The way you guys are set up, the way your equipment's laid out, the way the truck is upfitted, the way your engine companies are laid out, it is designed for your staffing and your first due addresses.
yes. So we're pretty much set up like a city department. And we do have crosslays and everything else, but if there's a point where a crosslay won't reach, we do have a lay that can work as a city lay, as a leader line.
Yeah.
So we'll pull off our 1.75 inch. If we see we're too short, we'll disconnect it, hook it to the 2.5, and go.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm excited to get out. You and I are going to go for a ride in this in just a little bit. We're going to see the first due, and we're going to get down some of those tight streets.
Yep.
And we're going to show it off, because the versatility of a TDA is truly what stands out in a town like this. And I know from knowing Morristown the few times that I've been here prior to this project, tight streets, double parked cars parked in the streets. You got tight alleyways, old construction, and blossoming new construction. So you guys have everything here.
yeah, we can't go out anymore, so they're going up.
That's exactly it. So good, Joey. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to our drive.
All right.
Good.
So a lot of older homes in this area.
These
we're
homes
getting
right
away
here
from downtown.
are the old school, one of the old schools. Like a lot of these were big mansions too, but they all been pretty much converted to almost two or three family style apartments.
Now, constant communication between front and rear, really having a good understanding, right?
Yeah.
The magic between the front and rear is super important.
Yes, it is. It's very important. If you have the same guy that you work with all the time, or you know a guy who is coming in on a different shift and he's a good Tillerman driver or front driver, you can get this place anywhere. But as long as you still have a good Tillerman or you have a good tractor driver, you're still good.
Right.
So
Right. There's something special there though, and I think, like, you know, for people that don't operate TDAs or never have operated TDAs, the communication between each other though, right? You have to. Guys that work together all the time have a sixth sense about how they drive, right? You know how the tractor guys drive, because the guy in the rear's got no control other than steering.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yep. And the good thing is that because Morristown isn't so big, when we go to calls and you have a very good experienced Tillerman, a lot of times, like for me, I used to know where my driver was going. I would start kicking the trailer out before he even made the turn. So,
Yeah.
and that way it made his life easier. But if you have a good tractor driver and he makes his turns nice and wide, it helps you out a lot too.
Okay. And then really interesting because of the staffing, right? Even though you guys are operating the truck, pulling up and pulling that parking brake, you guys are going inside. You guys are going right to work with the line off the engine because of the short staffing that you guys have.
Yep. Usually it depends, you know, before the shift starts and we sit down, we talk like who's going to have the line and who's going to do what. Usually you let the Tillerman have the nozzle because his pack is a lot closer to him, and I'm just putting my jacket on. He usually has his stuff on already.
Right.
So, and if it's a high-rise job, and now that we put the high-rise packs on the same side, because on the old truck, you had one high-rise pack on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. Now it's on both sides. It's who takes what.
Yeah.
So.
Bob Emery, welcome back to the studio, Director of Sales for Fire and Safety Services. Today, Morristown, New Jersey Ladder Company 1, which is a 2023 Enforcer tractor-drawn aerial.
That's correct.
A fun build.
Yes, it was.
It was a lot of fun out in the street with them. We got to spend the day with them, documenting it for the film. You know, we put that truck in some pretty tight quarters, and I think that is really what the TDA is truly all about.
Absolutely. I mean, a well-trained driver front and back, there's not any place that truck can't go.
And learning the history of Morristown, New Jersey, they have a history of TDAs within their department only because their downtown is old, the infrastructure is old, which we're talking narrow streets, cars parked, double parked cars, you name it, they have obstacles in their way. And for them to be able to get that an aerial device into some of these neighborhoods or nooks and crannies of the downtown, they really had to follow suit with previous apparatus and go with that TDA. I know in some of the conversations we've had, they've had tower ladders in the past also as a secondary aerial device. And for sure, it wouldn't be able to get down some of the historic streets within that city.
I would say there's probably areas you can't get a pumper down in that city.
That's very true. And I will tell you firsthand, in spending the day with them, watching them be able to operate the TDA the way they did, top shelf across the board. This is an apparatus that was designed and built specifically for them because of the challenges they have.
Yep. I mean, the tractor drawn's becoming popular again. It went away for a little while, but the popularity of that style unit has made a huge comeback.
The Ascendant product line has become very popular for Pierce Manufacturing. You're seeing it on all types of aerial builds across the board. In this case, it's a 107 heavy-duty aerial. It's a really well put together build, and it offers a lot of options. And for a TDA like this with a 107 Ascendant aerial, it's not just for height, obviously, it's for reach as well.
The 107, specifically on the tractor drawn, you can either do a 107 or a 102. If you need to get that trailer and that overall length of that tractor down to about 55, go to the 102. You know, you take the tip off and we're able to get you into that shorter truck. But yeah, the Ascendant ladder for us has been a home run since it was debuted. 100,000 PSI steel, manufactured from. So Pierce, and I believe we talked about it in the Tom's River build, right? Pierce has taken a lot of weight out of the trucks with this new ladder design with that 100,000 PSI steel.
And we're looking at, on this design, 750 dry at the tip load and 500 wet.
That's correct.
Yeah. So versatility, it's there.
It is.
This product allows to be used in an easy manner. I watched them set up several times that day when we were filming with them. The ability to hop out, engage, drop those jacks, and get that ladder up out of the cradle was literally seconds.
Yeah, and that ladder operates very smooth.
It does.
And very fast.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to get that ladder, say, to a victim on a higher floor very quickly. So it doesn't take forever for it. Some of the ladders takes a little while.
Sure.
But, the Ascendant operates very quickly and very smooth.
So Bob, with the TDA, we've been chatting about a few things that are important from the get, right? Obviously understanding our first due. In the case of Morristown, New Jersey, we're talking tight neighborhoods, hills, so we got to make sure the truck has enough power. On top of that, though, operationally speaking, things we need to consider when talking about a TDA for setting up and operating.
Yep. Listen, these trucks have an overall length of upwards of 60 feet.
Right.
So, in order to make that vehicle maneuverable and be able to go through some of these streets, you may need to take some things away, right? Better visibility for the tillerman. You don't want the full height compartments in front of them. Taking away some compartmentation at the rear, so when the tailspin of the tractor turns, you're not hitting things.
Sure.
So, you move up to the tractor, you don't want an extended front bumper. You want that bumper as close to the cab face as possible. And then, the other thing it would be is a shorter wheelbase on the tractor itself.
Sure, and then, other things that go hand in hand, right? So if the neighborhood requires the use of a TDA to maximize the abilities of the truck to work, then the truck itself, when it does work, we're looking at one set of outriggers on this, which
That's
is a
correct.
beautiful thing, right, for setup. So if you're talking tight neighborhoods, skinny streets, alleys, double parked cars, the ability to put out one set of jacks out and down is a lot simpler than a more complicated setup.
Absolutely, and I mean, these jacks are located behind the fifth wheel in front of the trailer. They are short, you can short jack, so you don't have to extend your jack off the passenger side if you're working off of the driver's side. Anything that you could do, say with a regular straight aerial with the jack system, you can do that with the tractor joint. So as long as you're fully extended off the driver's side, operating off the driver's side, you have full operation of the aerial at that
Right.
point.
TDAs offer incredible storage opportunities, right? So you're looking at the large square footage, large compartmentation that can run the full length of the trailer. You're looking at a ladder tunnel that can offer maximizing your ground ladder complements. As you said earlier, you can put over 200 feet of ground ladder storage on a TDA if you choose to. In this case, they're running 135, 228s, 216s in the ladder box, and a couple other auxiliary ladders, and then we have a 16 up in the fly section too. A large complement of ground ladders to support the city in which they protect. And when we're talking tight streets and we're talking TDAs, typically ground ladders go hand in hand because you're not always going to be able to get aerial apparatus into those neighborhoods.
Yep, right, it's a truck,
Yes.
right? And that's what we do in truck operations, row ladders. So whether it's a hydraulic ladder, whether it's a ground ladder, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you have to have those tools available to you.
And what I thought was exciting too is looking at this build, Morristown Ladder Company 1, you get a real good sense of the type of department they are by looking at their equipment, the equipment they carry, and then obviously how used it is, right? You see how much work they do go to and so on. This is a department that uses this truck to its full potential. All their people are trained on this. They're cross-trained to be able to operate this truck, but they were very thorough in understanding of its capabilities, but more so looking at compartmentation and what that truck can offer for them, right? This is a department that runs some minimum staffing at times, and so it takes two people to operate this truck. So they have to be well-versed in what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's what I said before, right? We talked about training to drive the back, training to drive the front. If you're not properly trained to operate that truck, you're not getting it anywhere, let alone the potential for accidents.
Right.
You know, so training is important.
Training and then understanding its capabilities. And what I mean by that is what the truck can offer you, right? With good operators and understanding the amount of equipment that can be carried on it, designing from the early onset of this process, the truck committee, understanding the equipment they want to carry. Morristown is still growing into the footprint on this truck. There's some compartmentation that doesn't or have much equipment on at all yet. They're growing into it.
That's not uncommon, Jerry.
That's right.
You know, people do that by design, we'll say. You know, we've designed some heavy rescues that have open compartments in it, but again, it's done by design. No different than on a tractor drawn area.
Well, that's it. And building for the future, right? These are apparatus that are going to be a part of our municipality or our districts for years to come. And so we want to make sure that we're maximizing its fullest potential as time ticks on.
Absolutely.
Good.
Chief Flanagan, thank you for having us today here in Morristown. What a great day. So we spent the morning looking at the truck, filming the truck, talking with the guys downstairs. A real sense of history and tradition with the Morristown Fire Department. Give me a little background about yourself.
Background about myself, I grew up in this town, actually 5th generation, believe it or not.
Wow.
Went to the local schools.
Yeah.
Graduated from the University of Texas. I had a job with a publishing company in sales. Then after that, I inherited a liquor license in Morristown, so I ran a liquor store for 15 years. In the interim, I was a volunteer since 1985 in this department.
Oh, okay.
And then in 1992, I was hired after taking the civil service exam.
Okay. So your roots start in the volunteer fire service here in Morristown.
Correct. Actually, my grandfather was a volunteer fire chief. He joined the fire department right after World War I. He came back from that. Then my father, who was also a politician here in Morristown, 4 terms, alderman and councilman, he was also a volunteer.
Wow.
And he actually taught me, you know, you give back to the community, you don't take from it. So I remember that still. I mean, it will always be with me.
I grew up that way as well. My father was a volunteer firefighter, but also a councilman, mayor for many years. And so I grew up in a house of civic-mindedness,
Right.
where you gave back to the community because the community gave us so much.
Absolutely.
It was our duty and honor to really give back as well.
And it makes you feel good on the inside, too.
It does, and I think that's a great way to segue into this part of the conversation about downstairs. Talking with many of the fellows downstairs, there's legacy here. Second generation firefighters, people that had their fathers here before them, and that creates a real sense of ownership, right? Going out the door, responding to fires and emergencies in the city, to the neighborhoods that you once grew up in, you take on a tremendous sense of pride about that.
Absolutely correct. And Morristown has grown so much since, you know, I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So it's like every day we're learning something new with all the construction going on. But I'm proud to say that we do keep on top of that here, everyone here. So when I became chief and got the orders to get some new apparatus, 2 other fire chiefs in the northern region, 2 from cities, mentioned about how Pierce, the service is unbelievable. And since we got Pierce, it really is. It's unbelievable. They're here either that day or the next day. So very pleased with them.
Well, and that's why we're here, right? We're working on a joint project with Fire and Safety Services to document Ladder Company 1 and the Morristown Fire Department. And I think what's special about that is a lot of the conversation always goes back to working with Fire and Safety, a true partner, right? This is a large capital purchase.
Correct.
Tax money being funneled into the fire department to support the future of the fire department, right? You know, this is a bustling town that is constantly growing and evolving, and the fire department has to do the same as well. And so the apparatus has to match that. Partnership with a manufacturer matters, right? When you're building a big capital item like this, you have to have a great relationship with fire and safety.
And it's funny, when I became the chief here back in 2013, we did have an issue with trying to get mechanics here and fix the apparatus. And it was a major problem. And I guess not just in New Jersey, but all across the country, there's an issue with getting mechanics that are certified to work on emergency apparatus. So that's another major problem that's going on in the state and across the country. But for whatever reason with fire and safety, like I said before, if we have an issue, they're here that day or the next day, and it's unbelievable.
So join us next time for another episode from Framerails to Finish. Today, what a great build. Morristown, New Jersey Ladder Company 1. We toured the town, we talked with the fellas at the firehouse, and we truly understand the reasons behind this TDA that was built for Morristown. And that's exactly what this project is all about, featuring the department and the build. And so thanks for joining us on this film, and we'll see you at the next one.